Okay. Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. This is Brandon Roberts from Decision Support, and I want to thank you for joining our afternoon lunch and learns. We'll go ahead and give it a few minutes or let a couple people join in, and then we'll go ahead and get started with any questions.
We have one pre-submitted question in the chat.
Yep. And we'll start with a question from Jeff. Hey, Jeff, how you doing? So, questions on lookup list types. Data pair is obviously simple name / pair or / value pair, but there's a data row and object. They seem similar, but when would you choose to use one type over the other? I also assume lookup list flows are cached, so they don't have to hit the database each time they are referenced. Okay. So data rows are normally used in like reports or dealing with CSV types or Excel types. So whenever you'll see that sort of, you're like making use of like an Excel step or using like a CSV or Excel, that's a type that you use to sort of, it's like a generic data row. And so when you select it, you'll get options for, specific fields or specific values that you can select. I can show that off real quick. Let me share my decision screen here. So if we go into a flow, let's say Excel or CSV. Either way, so we have our CSV step. We can do convert CSV to Excel, or let's see, list to CSV mapping. We can do, let's see here. So this gives us that. There's also a, where is that step? Is it this? Is the CSV to list mapping step? I believe it is. No, this isn't the one. Here's an Excel. Let's see, there's a mapping step here. Let's see, CSV to list to CSV. Just the one. Yep. So normally you would supply that, and then you'd get the actual data file row. So this is similar to what like the data rows would be using. So data row would have like a different set of field values here that you would be able to then map specifics, but it's more like a generic folder type. And same for object. Object's more of like a generic type that we use to sort of just sort of like a holder for like a type. So you don't say you want to you get a type or something, you want to like convert it to, or you get an object type and you don't know exactly what sort of type you want to use it to. Object type is more like a generic sort of object, for like lack of a better term. So for like object types, there's like an object to mapping type or cast objects to type. So say you're getting some data and right now you don't have like a data structure type, or it's just some sort of blob of data that you're, not 100% sure how to handle. You can use a object to mapping type to select the type that you can, tell decisions to try and map the object. Decisions will do its best to sort of look at that object and map it to the type that you select here, but it doesn't always work. I think, Jeff, if that answers your question, let me know. If you have something specific, Caitlin, can we take Jeff off mute so you can clarify a little bit?
I think that clarifies it. I guess so. You're saying that if unless you have some reason to use data row specifically, it'd be better to use the object version instead.
Honestly, I think I would use the data row before I use the object type. Being the object, it's a general type, and okay. It's difficult. It can cause issues. Like if you're doing some sort of like compilation on an object type or using object types in this sort of matter, in this sort of way, it can cause issues depending on what's in the object. Because it's like a generic object, you can pretty much throw anything in it. And sometimes you can put in something that decisions might not agree with. Like I've seen issues where a customer has been using object mapping and it could cause like a server to crash because there's some sort of like .NET like issue with like whatever data that they're mapping in. Like they're mapping in data that Decisions doesn't know how to handle. And then when we try to like map it to a data structure or map it to some other step that can, I've seen that bring down a server. So I would recommend using a data row versus a object type.
Okay, that's good to know. So other than that, the caching question, I was just wondering, like, so when you see the lookup list, they kind of show up just in the flow data.
Mhm.
And so I was just wondering, it almost appears as if it, you know, it's not hitting the database every time I view the lookup list, right? Assuming that it's database table driven, I guess.
Like, you mean like lookup lists and that piece I'm kind of
yeah. So if
assume
you have lookup lists and you're working in a flow, every time you open up the input step picker,
Mhm.
the lookup lists just show up as flow data, like the system constants do.
Mhm.
So it kind of almost implies that it must just, you know, pull the data for the list, and it just sits there on the server. It's not hitting the database every time. So I think I can answer that. Like, I think I can answer.
Yeah,
that
I think
question.
no, I see your point. Yeah, I think we do cache it on. I think we do cache it like on. I think on startup, but like when you do like include something to, I think I see your point. Like we don't make a call to the database every time we want to get lookup list information, and I believe that is the case. I believe we will just cache it on the server and then update it if we need to. If there's like a change to it.
Okay.
Next one, we have some. Do I need to recompile my custom steps when we upgrade decisions and it uses a .NET runtime version? Yes. From what I understand, if you do have custom steps, you will need to recompile them if we are, changing .NET versions. I don't know if we have a way to automate that in decisions. Mm, hmm. Let me pose that question to someone real quick. I don't know if we have a way to automate that, but I do know if we do have a custom step, we will need to compile against a new .NET runtime version if we do upgrade or when we upgrade and we have to make those changes. Okay, and I just got to answer that we don't have a way to automate that. Can data row be selected with create data type? Let's double check that. I normally see that on a report step, but let's see. Let's name it data row and data row. We can do data file row and dynamic data row. So we can select a dynamic data row type and a create data step. And then if we look at it real quick, we can't really do much with it, at least as a constant, but we can build data on it. And then we can give it file data or file type, depending on what we're sort of sending there, and row number. But that's what we can do as far as with the create data step for dynamic data rows. Let's see. And then flow and rule validation report. Issue column sometimes has multiple listed items, common delimited. There's a way to modify a report to get one row per issue. That you guys are on 7, right, Jeff? That should. You're talking about if we go to system
Yeah, we're on 7.
tool system validation. You're saying you see multiple for your system validations here.
So actually, this isn't system validation report. It's in flow management.
Oh,
And
flow.
rule.
Oh, okay. Sorry, got that confused. We should get report for resolution here. Does this?
Yeah. So what I see is sometimes there'll be like a comma delimited list of different
Oh, like
several issues in the issue column there.
okay, so probably
Yeah.
like this one here.
Yeah.
Property mode, okay. So we
And
don't
so-
show them here, but it looks like we have the validation here. If we just click into it now.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm exporting the report and then importing it into SQL so I can query it because we have like something like 3,000 and some validation issues.
Mhm.
And 80% of them are things like we know about, like the input parameter for the flow user ID might conflict with this one being used as an API or something.
Mhm.
So we know that because we don't use it as an API, but there are some legitimate ones. So just trying to query that out. I did do like a cross apply on the query and then string split the validation issue by comma, but sometimes the actual description has a comma in it. So that jumbles up the data a little bit. So I was just wondering if there's a way to pivot that, within decisions to get like one validation issue per row.
Let's see. One validation issue. So this type is flow rule. No, this is generated by code, so we can't fetch any sort of data like this. So we can take the report.
Or I can deal with it by like piecing together the strings again, but if not, I can maybe submit that as a feature request.
Yeah, this might be good as a feature request. I wonder if we use a report step. Let me take a look real quick. Does it not give us system reports here? Okay, flow validation. Okay, so then we output just the file data. Could we data rows? What are dynamic data rows? That report. Validation issues 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So must be 6. I wonder if we can. Let's do dynamic data rows. Then do a list mapping. What if we can throw that in the mapping step to that? So we can grab field 6, then we can probably grab the text value to an item to give us the item, I think. This should then give us the validation list here. And then once we have the validation list, I think we can probably throw this in like a for each loop, and then we can, like you're doing, split the string value and then insert that in the database. I think that might work as a sort of a way to sort of split these up further, Jeff.
Are you saying that I can get that list of, if there's more than one issue in that issue column, it'll come as an array here?
Yeah, what I'm saying, I'm returning the validation list, or I'm returning that validation. Every item that's a validation here, like as a string item, we can then just use like a like we have a list mapping, so we can take that row and put that row of items into a list. Then we can do like a for each item with like you said, like a split string step.
Oh, okay. Well, the split string is the issue because I'm splitting it by the comma when I run the query in the database, and because some of the descriptions of the issues have commas in them, it doesn't really work all the time.
This might be a better feature request because I mean, I think this is possible, but we can probably, I mean, we can put in a feature request as well, for this as well.
But if you're saying that flow you were building is going to return each row of this report as an object, and then the validation issue property is also a list, that wouldn't work.
Yeah, this should work because now I'm just taking in the dynamic data row, and I just selected this particular row 6.
Okay.
And then I just took that value and I'm just throwing that value into a list of strings, which should, if I did this right, this should work. Oh, layer processing row 0. This should work. This should work. This should work. Let me think on this for a little bit longer. So I'm taking this, right, input. Oh, I'm doing this to a CSV mapping, that's why. Or actually, no, I think I did that wrong. So it's a CSV list. We can take this value, we can run this report, right? We can take the CSV list from field 6, string or text value. This should work. Am I? This should just take in a run report step. Then we can take that step and do that dynamic data row and get the data from it. We can get it from that column for every item in that report. Then we can then run that through a CSV to list string step. This can definitely work. I think I just need to think a little bit more on how to get this working right now.
Okay. Oh, no rush. I mean, it's not a showstopper, but it just seemed like it would be helpful. Especially when
Okay.
when you're looking at a lot of, a long list of validations.
Let me get a support ticket submitted for this, and we can figure out the logic here so we can help you out here.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
All right. Tyson, do we have an 8.7 release or beta release of 8.7? Was 8.7 not released? No, that did get pushed. Let me double check real quick. No, actually, 8.7 was released, actually. Looks like it was released yesterday, Tyson. So this is happening. So you have an 8.7 on a Postgres DB. Let's see. We don't have a live or beta release of, well, we have a live release of 8.7 now. But in the 8.7 release notes, documentation of decisions. Data. Let's see. Okay, it doesn't look like it's an 8.7. What sort of issue are you hitting with creating a creating an entity in 8.7? Let's see. Caitlin, if you can take Tyson off mute, I don't know if he's able to speak to what sort of issue he has with creating a entity.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Cool. So when I run it, it says there's a error message 42P10. There's no unique or exclusion constraint matching the on conflict specification update error message.
04P10. You said, I'm
Mhm.
sorry, 04P10.
42P10.
Oh, okay, 42P10. Okay, sorry about that.
No, you're good. We put a ticket in last week and they said that 8.7 would have the fix,
Okay,
but
do you have
it
that?
doesn't seem to be.
Let's see. Do you have that ticket handy by
Yeah.
chance?
Don't me share.
Yeah, if you could just put that in the chat for the Zoom, I can take a look at that, see where it's at.
Sure.
Thank you. So let's see real quick. TT. Where's our so presumably this is what's failing, right? It's failing. Okay. Correct fix. Let's see. Take a look at the body. We got pushed to 8.8 instead of 8.7. Yeah, okay, saying it's confirmed in 8.7, but you're still getting an error.
Yeah, and when I was looking through the release notes, I didn't see a reference to this one specifically.
Yeah, I don't see that either. Okay, let me. Ethan has that ticket, so let me get with Ethan here so we can figure out, and we can figure out what's the status on this one, and
Cool.
we'll update you on that ticket.
That'd be fantastic. Thank you.
Yep. And then Dane, okay, trying to convert data to XML, but the XML requires an attribute. Is there any available to add, any step available to add attribute to an XML element? Let's see. So we get schema, XML to dynamic here. Do we not have, let's see, add element? I don't think we currently do. Let me look let me check something else. So, operation. Do we don't have any internal XML steps here? We can do XML, we can create types from it. And if you can come off mute, I don't think we have that right now, but if you can come off mute, I wonder if we can hear a little bit on your use case here. You're a little low. I think you might need to turn up your volume a bit.
All right, I have a CSV file that I need to convert to XML. I created the assembly flow data structure with the fields in the CSV file. However, there's a specific field when it's converted to the XML, it requires an attribute to that specific XML element. So let's say we have the XML structure is like this. Date and it of the date. It of a specific attribute. Let's say type code.
If we have CSV,
Um,
let's see. Maybe we could do that with like maybe we can do that with like a text. Maybe like a text merge. We might be able to do that. Like
Text merge.
yeah, we have like a text merge step. Let's see. Or is it? Yeah, it's a step as well. So you can create a text merge here. So we can text merge HTML, we can do plain text, or we can do like dot types as well. Don't see anything for a XML, but if we can grab the XML, say create a new one, new text merge, create it, input data, let's say CSV, here, hit OK. We could take in like whatever your CSV data is, and we can then put in whatever, like, I don't know, I'll just say dummy attribute.
All right, I'll take a more in-depth look at the text merge step, but thanks for pointing me in the right direction.
Oh, you put one in there. Okay. So yeah, we could do we need to like append it, or where do we need to put that within the
Oh yeah,
CSV?
I would need to append it. I would need to append it to the XML.
Okay, so yeah, we could then like have like CSV or whatever we want to call it. We can just do that. That'll bring that in, and then we can then do like a text. We can then like oops, let me move that real quick. We can just drop that in here, or like drop it in a block, or we can just append it to the bottom, but we can control where we want to put it with like a text merge.
So the CSV would have should show the when the flow is executed, it will use the actual content of the CSV converted to a text.
Right, exactly.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right then. Cool. I'll definitely look at the text merge step. I think this will be my first time using that step.
Yeah, if you hit problems with it, feel free to hop back on another lunch and learn. And we can have someone else, talk through more of it as go along your process.
All right then. Cool. Thanks a lot.
Yep. There was a pre-submitted question here, and I think it was from you, Dane. Question was how to group items in a list and sum each element. So
if I can speak for a minute.
Yep.
I think I'm in the right direction now. I was actually using the for each row in CSV, but that's not efficient. I'm using a list CSV to list mapping step now, and then for each group, which is more efficient. I tried it the first way, and I noticed there was a spike in processing resources and memory resources. I tried it using the CSV to list mapping and the for group, and I noticed I got the same result, and I use less resources. So that is more efficient.
Yeah, using like a list mapping step would probably, or using like the list steps are better here for those sorts of things. For each it does work, but it, like you said, it can cause little spikes in, every item that we're hitting. So,
Yeah.
okay.
All right, so I got that result. It's just you look at the text margin step now.
Okay, great.
So,
See there. So, and checking for Tyson. We're going to get a ticket submitted for Jeff with his rule flow validation. Flow we're going to work on building there. Let's see. All right, I think these are all answered here. Did anyone else have any questions? All righty. So I think we are good to close. I don't think anyone else is going to be joining. I want to thank you guys for joining us today. I hope I answered the questions enough for you guys. Tomorrow, I think, who do we have on for tomorrow? Tomorrow, right now. Yep, we have Sandel. So she's one of our SE, and she does a lot of they do like the building. And so as far as like some of the really cool stuff that we build and show up to other potential clients, that's her expertise. So look forward to hearing from her tomorrow. You guys have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Brandon. Have a good one.
you too.